A new IESX 2D SegY seismic spreadsheet loader has been introduced in GeFrame 2012. This loader allows you to quickly and easily load 2D seismic in navigation to your project. The spreadsheet form allows you to visually inspect parameter selections for each line prior to loading. One of the main advantages of this new loader is that no loading definition file is required to load, thus alleviating the need to inspect and define each line individually in the loading definition file, which saves a great amount of time. This movie will walk you through a 2D load and explain many of the features of the new loader. To load multiple 2D lines using the EZLoader, start IESX from the IESX Session Manager, select Applications, Data Manager. Once the IESX Data Manager dialog box is open, select Seismic EZLoader 2D. The EZLoader 2D spreadsheet opens. To begin loading data, click on File Selection to open the standard GeoFrame Data Selection dialog and locate the directory where the SegY files you want to load are. Make your selections. Files with a .sgy, .segi, and .seg extensions are acceptable for input. The spreadsheet will populate with the 2D line selections. Click Survey Name to open the Survey Manager dialog box where you can select an existing 2D survey to load to or create a new 2D survey to load to. In this example, we will create a new 2D survey. Now select a class to load to by clicking Class Name. This opens the Class Manager dialog box where you can select to load to an existing seismic class or create a new class. For this example, we will create a new class. Now we need to specify the header locations for the CDP number, shot point number, XY locations, and the rest of the parameters. If you know the byte positions for these values, you can simply click on Control Params to open the control file dialog box and enter the correct byte locations in format or open a previously saved template. Templates containing this information can be saved here and named. If you do not know the byte locations, you can click in the cell of a SegY file name and SegY Editor will open in context where you can investigate the header information for loading. After you have set up your header information, you need to specify the domain of the data, time or depth, the data type, stacked or velocity, and the storage format, 8, 16, or 32-bit. If you are importing coordinates that are in a projection that is different than the project's coordinate reference system, you can specify their projection by clicking on Projection and creating and selecting the input CRS. Prior to loading your data, it is recommended that you scan the data to ensure everything is fine. Toggle on Align or Lines and click Scan, and the various cells in the spreadsheet will populate with the information obtained from the byte locations you defined. This gives you the ability to do a quick and thorough QC prior to loading your data. The fields in the spreadsheet can be adjusted by clicking the Reorder Columns icon to open the Reorder Columns dialog box, which contains more attributes that you can populate the spreadsheet with. You can add, remove, and order the columns you want to see. Only the status, line name, and SegY file name are required columns. Lines can be removed from the spreadsheet by selecting the lines and clicking on the scissors icon. You can easily make bulk changes to column settings by using the Copy and Paste option. For example, if you want to change the load mode column from both to seismic, you can click mouse button 1 on the option list and select seismic. Then click mouse button 3 and select copy. This turns the cell color to pink. To make a bulk assignment, click and drag mouse button 1 in the area next to the option list, which turns the cell a light blue, and click mouse button 3 paste, or use the standard control mouse button 1 shift mouse button 1 selection mechanism and then select mouse button 3 paste. There are some columns, for example CDP shot point expression and shot point CDP relation, that bring up related dialog boxes when you click mouse button 1 in the cell. For example, if you click mouse button 1 in the CDP shot point expression cell, it opens the expression dialog where you can easily enter the lines shot point CDP expression. Once you have all the parameters set for the lines, you are ready to load. If you are loading hundreds of 2D lines, you may want to load a few lines prior to loading them all. Simply click on the toggle of the lines you want to load and click Load. The lines load. If the lines load properly, since there are no problems with your parameter settings, then the status cell turns green. If there was a problem loading the lines, then the status cell would turn red, indicating that it loaded improperly and is expecting action from you. At this point in time, you could also review the trace data in SizeDB and post the lines on basemap to verify that your 2D lines are spatially correct. Once you are satisfied with your settings, you can click the top button to toggle on all of the lines to load. There is no need to toggle off the lines you previously loaded as test lines, as they will be overwritten. Click Load. A progress report box opens, giving you the status of each line as it loads. This report can be saved for later use. Before exiting the loader, you may want to save your settings and parameters as saved sessions. This can be done using the File Save As option, and then later reopened using File Open. This video is a presentation of the new 2012 EZLoader. New EZLoaders for 3D and ZGY data will be delivered in future service packs. For further details on this, refer to the GeFrame 2012 documentation and release notes.